So hello, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Nani Friedman and I'm an organizer with Faith and Action Bay Area here in San Mateo County. And the name tag.
And I am Adriana Guzman. I'm also an organizer with Faith and Action Bay Area. I have been working with families across the county for the past 10 years, mostly the families that have been impacted by inequity in the county. So immigrants and many other people that are low income, and building teams to canalize power and to create change in the county.
That's what we do. And we wanted to start by celebrating some of what we've accomplished together in the last year. We have really good news. We want to center good news. And so we want to start by saying that we had a really excellent growth in our leadership over the last year. We, in Redwood City, we're focused on working on anti-displacement issues and reconnected with several congregations who have been in and out during the pandemic. And through our efforts of door knocking and phone banking and bringing folks together with city council members, we were able to make really big strides in the city of Redwood City to prevent families from being displaced and keep them in their homes. So our leadership was able to double the funding in the budget for permanent staff at the city of Redwood City. Wow. We now have 4 housing staff members where there were formerly 2 for working on the city's #1 priority. We also were able to advance some major strides in the city's anti-displacement plan. Prior to Faith and Action's involvement, the city was planning on replicating state law, so not increasing protections, and making sure that they could kind of re-get their program going that give folks checks when they are being displaced, and not preventing displacement. And so the leadership was able to make sure that now on their new employees' work plans are 2 really important laws that will actually prevent displacement, anti-harassment, and a right to return when folks are getting evicted. And so now that is something that city staff is working on as we speak, due solely to the fact that we brought hundreds of people to City Hall and really kept the pressure up. So that's also really, really good news that we want to share with you all. And in San Mateo, we had this reinitiated effort to organize with folks, parents of children in the schools, who are now working on a committee to make sure that school safety remains a priority when there's a big personnel shortage in the elementary school and middle school district. So that is something that is really exciting to be able to share. Pastor Bussy can speak firsthand to the energy as we meet in their church. And we want to sort of celebrate the fact that we are able to reconnect with a lot of families here in San Mateo as well. Is there anything?
And in San Mateo also is this other team that is connecting congregations and is connecting the leadership across city, because the issue that they have been listening mostly has been housing. And so it is 2 different issues, so we will keep the schools team working on the schools a little bit and connecting whenever is needed to continue to work with the team that is across city on housing, and connecting also to the state. And Nani will share more about that.
Yeah. I also want to celebrate a big win that we had in San Francisco. We organized in San Mateo and San Francisco counties. In this past election, Faith and Action leaders and our civic engagement team door knocked and phone called to over 60,000 people about the Prop M, the empty homes tax. There are 60,000 vacant homes in San Francisco and 8,000 people living on the streets. And this tax proposal is aimed at taxing the corporations that are keeping these units vacant in order to directly fund subsidies that go to low-income families for their rent, which is something our San Francisco leadership has been working on for the past 6 years, or something like that. And so they were able to win. They got 50 4% of the vote, so direct result of all of the effort that our leadership put in. It was really, really exciting. So we are continuing the civic engagement, continuing connecting our leadership.
The same situation that they are going through are living in all the cities across San Mateo County and honestly across the state. That's why they decide to connect with other leaders across the state on this conversation. And they are building a vision of 10 years and how we're gonna be preventing homelessness by keeping people's home. But at the same time, they know that the rents has been increasing, and even that we have a cap for rents in California, it continued to be so high for low-income communities. So we are seeing the opportunity in these coming years to improve tenant protections, but also they are looking for a budget that exists right now of, I never say the numbers right. How much is 100 mil millones de dólares?
100,000 million.
Say it.
100,000 million.
Otherwise, I will say very low money. 100 mil millones de dólares.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of money in California, even coming out from a pandemic that we don't know how it's gonna be invested. If we don't follow that money, that will be expended on whatever the government decide. So we are seeing that as an opportunity to ask for money to support low-income families, and we are imagining to create a guaranteed basic income for low-income families, for immigrants, for the people that has been struggling to keep their daily the basics of keeping a home. So we are connecting through the state, the leadership, and we will do some research across the state. Locally, we have to do some work because the money will come to the county, and we need to connect as a county to make sure that we can create that kind of programs in San Mateo County. But we are just in this moment of building the connections, the power, and building the strategy as we go. So, would you like to share about that?
Sure, yeah. So to build, we're looking at this an economy for the people, basically. What is it gonna take from our power as Pico, California, our statewide network, a network of 10 organizations, including Faith in Action Bay Area, to be able to develop the power to be able to shift something big, a guaranteed basic income within the state budget in the next few years. And so we in San Mateo County have to do that locally in order to be able to bring that power to the state level. So, and we're focusing this year especially on reconnecting with many congregations and building teams in our 4 main geographies. So Redwood City and the surrounding areas, San Mateo and the surrounding areas, Daly City and the surrounding areas, and the coast. We have leadership teams that are working in those areas, tracking things locally, but thinking also together at the county level about these issues, and moving to so that in key moments, like in April, we're going to be moving an action in coordination with everybody in the state, and likely somewhere in Northern California. So we are really focused on talking to people and deepening these connections and deepening these conversations to understand how would an economy for the people affect the lives and positively impact the lives of our families in our congregations and in our neighborhoods. And so to start a lot of those conversations, we are conducting a survey on our families' housing needs in conjunction with Pico, California, and congregations across the state, so that we know, we can check in on the well-being of our congregants collectively, which sometimes, we don't even fully realize how the economy is affecting our families, both in an individual way, but also an aggregated way. And so we are launching the survey this month into February, and so that we can also have conversations. And we want to hear from both renters and homeowners. There's a different survey for the 2 groups, so that we can understand how this is affecting everybody. And we want to be able to return to the congregations and say, here, here's a snapshot of this congregation and our community at large. And maybe this congregation we realize is doing pretty well, but we want you to know that our neighbors are going through this situation. And this is the story collectively that we're experiencing as a county, and we want to be in conversation about that. And so this survey is something that several of you may be already aware of, some of you may not be. So connect with us if you're interested, and we can start developing that out for your congregation. Maybe it's not the right tool for you to start a conversation in your congregation about how we can make this economy work for everybody. So we can think about it together. But we want to let you know that this is the sort of alignment that we're hearing from across the state based on the lived experiences of our families here in San Mateo County in conjunction with others.
It will be peak moments where we will need your support really as faith leaders, as you have been experiencing that in the past. It's always better and well received when clergy is there. You have so much power as a clergy that maybe you can imagine. But for people also to strengthen their own experience and feel more strong and comfortable to share, it's better when they feel surrounded by you guys. So we will be sharing some dates with you when we have these research meetings, when we plan some actions, and it will be amazing if many of you can join us in April. We don't know yet what are the details, where is the place, but we are imagining that it's likely that could be an action with the governor or with some statewide legislators. So we will let you know details, but that action is basically the launching of this effort in a public arena. So we will need you there if possible.
I'm sure that many of you noticed the way that several cohort members were physically surrounding Elizabeth in the vigil for her eviction case and in solidarity with her. And we're going to need you to do that with all of our leaders in April. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.